My name is Jonathan Reed. I'm 42 years old, and for the last 15 years, I've been the driving force behind Reed Innovations, a mid-sized tech firm in Seattle that specializes in cybersecurity software. In the Pacific Northwest's cutthroat startup scene, I'm known as the steady hand, the guy who navigates funding rounds, outmaneuvers competitors, and turns potential disasters into profitable pivots. I've always prided myself on logic over impulse, data over drama. That's how you survive in this industry. Let emotions cloud your judgment, and you're done. I married Lydia 9 years ago, back in 2016. She was 28, full of energy and ideas, working as a graphic designer at a small agency in Bellevue. We met at a tech meetup in Pioneer Square. She was there pitching freelance work, and I was scouting talent. She had this spark, a way of seeing creative solutions where I saw code and algorithms. I brought her into the company fold, first as a contractor, then full-time in our marketing department. It felt like a perfect match, her flair complementing my strategy. We built a life together, a sleek condo overlooking Puget Sound, weekend hikes in the Cascades, even talked about kids someday. The warning signs started creeping in about a year before our big company retreat. Subtle at first. Lydia began traveling more for client outreach, staying out late at networking events in Portland or Vancouver. Her laptop stayed locked, and she'd angle the screen away when I walked by. Once, I caught her laughing at a message on her phone during dinner. Then she quickly pocketed it. I'm not paranoid by nature. Paranoia gets you nowhere in business, but patterns are my specialty. Inconsistencies in stories, unexplained expenses on the company card. I started noting them mentally, like debugging a faulty program. By spring 2024, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I contacted a discreet investigator, an ex-NSA analyst named Carla Voss who'd gone private. She charged a premium, $10,000 retainer, but her reputation for uncovering digital trails was unmatched. "Give me 2 weeks," she said over encrypted video call. "I'll map it out." I provided Lydia's routines, company access logs, and a few suspicions. No drama, just facts. The report hit my secure inbox in mid-May. 40 pages of timestamps, emails, and photos. Lydia had been seeing Garrett Klein, my own chief operations officer, and a guy I'd considered a close ally. Garrett was 39, sharp-dressed, always the charmer in board meetings. We'd co-founded Reed Innovations back in 2010, college buddies from UW-Tacoma who'd bootstrapped the company from a garage in Redmond. The affair kicked off at a trade show in Las Vegas the previous November, late nights turning into something more. But it wasn't just personal betrayal. Carla uncovered a deeper scheme. Garrett had been in talks with a rival firm, Apex Security out of Silicon Valley. Emails showed him feeding them our proprietary algorithms disguised as consulting advice. Lydia was in on it, using her marketing role to access sensitive client data and pass it along. They planned to jump ship together, take a chunk of our team, and force a buyout that would leave me with scraps. Apex had dangled equity stakes and a 7-figure bonus. It was corporate sabotage. Plain and simple, wrapped in infidelity. Reading that report in my home office, rain pattering against the floor-to-ceiling windows, I didn't rage. I planned. First, I looped in my lawyer, Harlan Tate, a veteran of Seattle's tech legal wars with a $600 hourly rate. We'd worked together since our Series A funding. Over lunch at a quiet spot in Belltown, I laid it out. Review the partnership agreements, NDAs, everything. I need airtight protection. Harlan nodded, no questions asked. Our founding docs had non-compete clauses, but they were outdated. We quietly updated them. New employee contracts rolled out as routine HR refresh. Garrett signed his without a second glance during a team meeting in June. Too busy flirting with success to read the fine print. Those updates included forfeiture provisions for IP theft and immediate share dilution in case of proven misconduct. Next, I fortified the tech side. I hired a forensic IT specialist to audit our servers, documenting every unauthorized access. Logs showed Garrett downloading core code to a personal drive, Lydia emailing prototypes to an anonymous account that traced back to Apex. I didn't confront them. Timing is everything in a takedown. Instead, I started shifting assets. I transferred key patents to a holding company I controlled solely, restructured our cloud storage with multi-factor approvals only I could override. By July, the company's intellectual property was locked down tighter than Fort Knox. The company retreat was set for late August 2024 at a lodge in the Olympic National Park. Team building, strategy sessions, the works. 40 employees plus a few investors. I'd been dreading it, but now it was the perfect stage. The first night, around a bonfire with s'mores and craft beers, Lydia stood up during group shares. She clinked her bottle, drawing attention. "I have something to say," she announced, glancing at me with feigned regret. "Jonathan and I are separating. I found someone who truly appreciates me, Garrett. We're together now, and I think it's best for everyone to know up front." The group froze. Whispers rippled through the crowd. One of our engineers dropped his marshmallow stick. Garrett puffed up beside her like he'd just closed a killer deal. My sister, who handled HR, shot me a horrified look. I stayed composed, sipping my beer. "Thanks for the update," I said evenly. "Enjoy the evening, folks." Then I excused myself for a walk along the lakeside trail, the evergreens whispering in the wind. Alone under the stars, I finally allowed a grim smile. They thought they'd ambushed me. They had no clue I'd been 3 steps ahead. Back in Seattle the next morning, I activated Phase 2. Harlan filed emergency motions in King County Court. Breach of contract, IP theft, the works. We hit them with injunctions freezing Garrett's company accounts and shares. Lydia's access badge was revoked remotely. Her laptop bricked via admin override. By noon, Apex got a cease and desist, backed by evidence of solicited corporate espionage. Carla's digital forensics were ironclad. Timestamps, IP addresses, the lot. Lydia blew up my phone that afternoon. "What the hell, Jonathan? You can't lock me out of everything." Her voice was shrill, panicked. "You wanted transparency," I replied coolly. "Now you've got it. See you in court." Garrett's lawyer, some slick operator from a downtown firm, called Harlan, demanding negotiations. Harlan shut him down. "Your client stole trade secrets. We're talking federal charges if this escalates." But legal hammers weren't enough. I needed to crush the conspiracy at its root. Carla dug deeper into Apex. Turns out they had a history of shady acquisitions, including a whistleblower case from 2022. I anonymously tipped off a tech journalist at the Seattle Times, providing redacted evidence. The story broke 2 days later. Local firm accused of poaching IP in bitter corporate feud. Apex's stock dipped 8% overnight. Investors bailed. For Garrett, I went personal. Carla uncovered his side hustle, a crypto trading scheme where he'd funneled company expense money, racking up $120,000 in losses. He'd hidden it in reimbursement claims, but audits don't lie. I bought out his outstanding markers from a shady online lender for $140,000, wiring the funds through a shell account to avoid flags. Now I held his financial noose. The climax came in early September 2024 at a nondescript conference room in a Bellevue law office overlooking Lake Washington. I'd chosen the spot deliberately, neutral ground, but close enough to our HQ to remind them of what they'd tried to steal. Harlan sent the invites, Lydia, Garrett, their attorneys, and a rep from Apex's legal team, framed as settlement talks to avoid litigation. They bit, thinking I was cornered and desperate. I arrived early with Harlan and Carla, who posed as a consultant. Stacks of binders waited on the table. Forensic reports, email chains, server logs. When Lydia and Garrett walked in, her in a power suit, him trying to look unflappable, I didn't rise, just nodded them to their seats. Apex's lawyer, a weaselly type from Palo Alto, started with bluster. "My clients deny any wrongdoing. We're here for a clean exit." I pushed the first binder forward. "Clean, let's review." It detailed Garrett's code exfiltration, line-by-line diffs showing our encryption protocols copied to his device. Lydia's emails followed, attachments time-stamped to Apex servers. "This is theft," I said flatly. "Non-disclosure violations, trade secret misappropriation, Federal Computer Fraud and Abuse Act territory." Garrett blanched. Lydia's eyes darted. Their lawyer skimmed, face tightening. "Circumstantial," he muttered. Harlan chuckled. "Try admissible. We've got metadata, chain of custody, expert testimony." Next binder, the updated contracts they'd signed. Clauses stripping equity for misconduct, non-competes barring them from cybersecurity for 2 years in the PNW. "You agreed to this in June," I noted. "Thought it was busy work." Lydia snapped. "You tricked us." "No," I countered. "You didn't read. Now, Apex." I slid over their history, the 2022 whistleblower docs Carla had surfaced via contacts. "Poaching our IP fits your pattern. SEC's watching firms like yours." The Palo Alto guy sweated, whispering furiously on his phone. Then the personal gut punch. I addressed Garrett. "Your crypto mess, $120,000 siphoned from expense reports. I own those debts now. Pay up, or we add embezzlement to the pile." He stammered. "That's not—" Lydia whipped toward him. "You what?" The room cracked. Trust between them shattered like cheap glass. "Here's the deal," I continued, voice steady as Seattle fog. "Lydia, prenup holds. No alimony, no company shares. You keep personal stuff, walk away clean. Garrett, resign immediately, forfeit all equity, vanish from tech. Apex drops pursuits, pays a settlement for the IP breach, $2 million non-negotiable, or we go public with everything." Their side huddled, panic rising. Harlan added, "Refuse, and it's depositions, raids, headlines. Your careers end." After an hour of haggling, they folded. Lydia signed first, tears smudging her signature. $150,000 from joint accounts, her condo equity halved, banned from Reed Innovations forever. Garrett got nothing but a severance gag order and debt forgiveness if he stayed silent. Apex wired the funds by week's end, their execs issuing a quiet apology press release. No charges filed. I wanted them ruined, not martyred. Back at the office, I called an all-hands. Laid out the sabotage without names, framed as a security breach lesson. The team rallied. Morale spiked when I announced bonuses from the settlement. Board promoted me to sole CEO, phasing out Garrett's ghost. We hired fresh ops talent from Portland, audited every line of code, and launched a new product line by Q4. Revenues up 25%. Lydia vanished to San Francisco, scraping by in freelance gigs. Last I heard, she's bartending at a startup lounge, her designer dreams dust. Garrett tried Phoenix Consulting but tanked. Non-compete scared off clients, debts lingered. He ended up in sales for a hardware chain in Tacoma, anonymous and broke. Apex rebranded after the scandal, but the damage stuck. They sold out cheap to a bigger player in 2025. Me. I turned the ordeal into fuel. Bought a fixer-upper cabin in the San Juans that fall, turned it into a retreat for company offsites, team hikes, strategy jams amid the island's mist. Started the Reed Tech Mentorship Program, funding underrepresented coders from Seattle's diverse neighborhoods. We partner with community colleges, offer internships, equity stakes, and spin-offs. It's real impact, not just profits. In spring 2025, Garrett sent an email, terse apology, admitting envy from our early days. "You built it. I wanted a shortcut." I replied once. "Learn from it. If you're clean, apply to our program anonymously." He didn't, but the offer stood. At 42, I'm thriving, running a tighter ship, Dating a bioengineer from a UW conference, no rush. Betrayal taught me, spot the code early, rewrite before it crashes. I didn't get even, I upgraded. That's the real win.